You know who I am, and we heard from some of you in the room, so let's kick it off by learning who my esteemed panelists are this time round. And because we have just one gent in this session, let's start with the thorn among the roses. Over to you. Here, you can use my mic.
Yes, hi. So I'm Praneshan Naidoo. I'm at a company called SourceFin, which is a sort of a tender financing house, which is a purchase order funding house. And I'm also the founder of a company called Go Fund Yourself. Go Fund Yourself is purely an access to markets for township. It deals with township funding. It deals with access to market for township. It deals with skills development and more the empowerment of townships. Yep, so that's about me.
Did we not need him in the previous panel as well?
Yeah.
Am I the only one?
Are you trying to say I'm going to answer all the questions I'm going to for this one is up?
Well,
I think
I'm trying to
someone's calling me
gently
outside.
say it. Go for it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Toni Gumede from Brand South Africa. My area of specialization as a professional is stakeholder relations. So I'm extremely passionate about collaborations and have been in that space for the past 15 years, both at strategic relationship management as well as community level engagement in more my field language, social facilitation. So those are my areas that I'm extremely passionate about.
Listen, I will say, I know I'm a hard worker, but this is by far one of the hardest working women I know, right? So if you want to take, I'm talking particularly to the young people, but if you want to take something away today, learn her work ethic. Yeah. It's tops. Oh, okay, thanks. Hi, everyone. Is it not on?
Hi. Okay.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. My name is Wesson. I'm the founder of a fun and therapeutic mental wellness brand called In My Feelings. The fun fact that it's based on a game that I created myself called In My Feelings Game. And what we do in this brand is that we help people manage their relationship, build mental and emotional resilience, and help them sustain these habits so that they can live a healthier life, because we understand that good relationships help you live longer. So we work with families, school ecosystems, and youth-based organizations as well as companies. And all our games are based on neuroscience, karaoke, dancing, all the fun elements, because we want people to enjoy being who they are, at the same time also be able to express their vulnerability. So this has been a really great moment since I've started working, since I was 16, working in community-based, youth-based organizations. This has been really a great privilege to be able to take this to an innovative level.
Excellent, thank you. So excited you're with us today.
Good morning or afternoon. My name is Wendy Siliyana. I'm the founder of Virtue Business Solutions, which is a company that focuses on enterprise development. Have been in the space for the past 12 years, working with different stakeholders. In that space, I acquired a license to start the first branch for Mini-Boss Business School. So I'm the director for Mini-Boss Business School Johannesburg, which is an international business school for children between the ages of 6 to 19. And a lot of people ask me, what do you teach children about business? And I think today we got a demonstration with the earlier panel that it's important to teach young children at an early age about business and about entrepreneurship, so that we can create future business leaders. And so that's in a nutshell what we do.
Brilliant, fabulous. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome my panel. It's clear we have, so round of applause for our panel. We have a team of subject matter experts, I'm sure you'd agree with me. And I think the previous conversation segues then into this one quite seamlessly. And we do want to tap into their knowledge, their expertise, their thoughts, but we want to tap into the audience as well. So feel free. I want to hear from you. If you have a burning thought, burning idea, you can stick your hand up, or you can write on a Post-it, put it up here, and we'll make sure we get to it. So, shaping South Africa's sustainable future. I love it. Because of course, we absolutely love our country, right? We know that we live in one of the most amazing parts of the world. And that's the truth for anybody that's traveled. I am that person that when I return from Washington, kiss the ground at OR Tambo, because I love my country so much. There is no other place in the world like it. And there's a few things we need to do. Maybe there's many things we need to do, to tweak, to get it to where we want it to be, so that every South African can reap and enjoy the benefits that the country has to offer. How do we shape that? Let's get stuck into that word sustainable, right? Help me define that. How do we shape, how do we tap into sustainability, and how do we make it sustainable? And I'm not going to pounce on anyone specifically on the panel, but anybody who'd like to start, anybody who'd like to contextualize this for us, feel free, or anybody from the target audience as well. Go for it. If you've got the mic, go for it.
Thank you for that question. I attended one workshop a couple of years ago, which was on a similar subject.
Right.
And what I learned from that workshop was how we enter into a room wearing different hats. Okay. Whether you are a director, whether you are a young person starting a business, and the level of engagement is always from that premise. Now, in order for us to reach a common ground, we need to take off the hats that we are wearing. Take off the hat of being a director, take off the hat of being an entrepreneur, take off the hat of being, the COO, or take off the hat of being the minister in the room, and put on a hat of being an active citizen and saying, how can I contribute in shaping the future that I want to see? And that for me is the first point, or is a point of departure for everyone who says, I want to build the South Africa I want to see. I want to build a sustainable South Africa. To take on a hat to say, I'm an active citizen, and therefore this does not depend on the next person, it depends on me and what I put on the table.
Excellent. So my contribution, my output, what is it that I can do? Fantastic. I like that. Go for it.
Yep. So I just grabbed the mic there. You spoke about sustainability, and you spoke about being inclusive. The one thing that comes to mind for me is the fact that sustainability has to be for something that's already being done. And I feel what I'm, Go Fund Yourself in the townships at the moment is purely of the fact that trying to make it part of South Africa. The economy of townships is purely self-contained. It doesn't flow out of the townships. And Go Fund Yourself is purely creating markets so that it can have the access to markets to grow into the suburbs out of the townships, having suburbs buy from the townships. Right? Having that cross-pollination at the moment. At the moment, there's none. Like as I said earlier when I started, I am in the financing of the tender game. Have the guys that are manufacturing furniture in the township win purchase orders. They do great jobs. They just do not know how to get it done, right? So sustainability should be starting there. So,
right.
Yep.
Right. I just want to respond to his question, and then I want to come back to you for sure. Park that thought. Praneshan, I want to ask, with everybody's permission, a bit of a controversial question, right? Because I want to tap into your brain a little bit here. I'm super intrigued by the informal economy, and I've seen personally what it has done worldwide. And I think it has huge potential. Sorry, I didn't even know my mic was off. And I think it has huge potential here. Here's what I've learned, though, is, and I'm happy to hear from the youth as well, young people as well, is sometimes there's a preference to keep my business in the informal sector and operate informally outside of regulation and governance? Because if I hadn't, it shouldn't be. Okay, but what are your thoughts on that?
No, 100%, I get you, right? We've just done a huge drive right now with the MEC of Economic Development, where he ran this campaign in Tembisa about 3 weeks ago, which was actually called the governance campaign. We're registering businesses across Gauteng, but there are some kickbacks for that, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that come with that. There's a skills development coming with that. If you get your guy right now, that's only going to be the fact that you say, okay, I just want to work this way. He has no way of actually expanding. He has no way of expanding.
That's right.
Okay? He can only make 4 chairs a day. He cannot go to make the 20 chairs a day. He cannot now have the benefits of employing another 5 people or 10 people onto his factory because that's the way he wants to work. So we now giving them the knowledge. We are now passing on that knowledge to say, think a bit outside the box. Yes, and the townships have been operating like that for a while, right? I mean, if you think about it, it's cardless. Everything is cash in the townships.
That's right.
It's only now, right now, that you find eco-car machines in the townships. You find, people going a lot more onto the card machines, right? So it is changing. Right? So the guys in the township that have these businesses are understanding or seeing the benefit of having your company registered.
Yeah.
I can give you an example right now. We registered 330 companies, around 330 companies onto the CIPC in a matter of 3 months.
Wow, that's a
Right?
lot.
We've opened up 180 bank accounts between Capitec and Time Bank. Right? So those were non-existent before. The guys in the townships are understanding the benefits of these things. And yes, they will be liable for tax. But then the upside is the fact of the growth.
That's it.
Right? You want to play in the big market, you have to play big as well. You have to think big.
That's right. That's right.
So-
That's a key message, right? For the young people here, I'm seeing a lot of nodding. You're in agreement then. And I hope that we can spread that messaging, right? Outside of this room. Let's create that multiplier effect.
Perhaps just to take one step back, you asked a question that is very easy to answer intellectually when it comes to sustainability. But I think if we are to simplify it, then we can personalize it, like my fellow panelist said earlier. So for me, and this is also to help me be able to teach my 10-year-old, because I started learning about this in my adult life. The kids that are younger than us, or the people younger than us, cannot. So we need to do the teaching earlier. So for me, sustainability is saying what is happening that must keep happening so that the future is brighter. 1, for the environment, 2, for the humans. So what that for me means basically a future that has environmental protection and human actualization through access to economic opportunities. That's
Well
exactly
summed.
what it means for me. So I want to be able to say it in simple terms, because then I can incorporate it and translate it into my everyday life that way. 2, and you just touched on a space of the informal economy and what it touches for me, because I have done so much community level engagement. I think it's important to engage people at a level where you are open to sharing information. There are low levels of trust with institutions, not only public institutions. There are low levels of trust. So at community level, because so much development has happened in a way that seems to arrive and come to take away from communities, trust is low. So it's important when you are going to the community, even entrepreneurs or in the informal sector in the community, go there and articulate clearly what the benefits are. Once people understand what the benefits are for themselves, they're able to be more receptive and take things up that are helpful for them. I mean, of course, scalability is one of them, but also accessing support, business funding support and business support mechanism and instruments to help any business be more and then also opportunities are more accessible that way when you are formalized. When you just bring the information to people and there are no hidden agendas of extracting more money from the community than what benefit the community is going to get, and really it starts with establishing trust and credibility. What are your intentions? Not only coming to say the good stuff, but then do what you say. Be consistent. And that is what stakeholder relations or community engagement is about, as an enabler to making sure that all this great stuff we talk about is actually able to be embraced by the people who must participate in it and benefit from it.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. I'm happy to hear from... Go for it.
Okay, speaking about sustainability, I think one of the beautiful quotes I've ever heard was, we plant trees that we don't get to enjoy their shades, but the next generation does. And I think when we speak about sustainability, we speak about that we're doing the hard work now so that it continues long after we're gone. And so that's all about legacy. So we all have to sit together and say, what is our shared legacy as a country? And how do we contribute to that legacy? So we need to first define that and make sure that we all understand the definition, and it's only one definition, because most of the time there's a barriers, because if we don't understand what is it that we stand for and what we're contributing to, it's like, just hitting your head on a brick wall and everybody just doing their own thing, and then we wonder how we're not really achieving anything. So by first identifying that shared legacy, then we are able to all contribute with our skills and our talents towards that, because we understand that the work that we are doing now, it's not for us, but it's for the longevity of the next future generations, which are here in the room as well. And I think it's important for us to accept that first and be good with that understanding. Then we are able to really sustain anything that we build, because we know what it represents for the people in the future. Okay.
Well said.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, I feel like this part of my room is a little bit quiet. And it is because they're so knowledgeable, right? I'm seeing hands going up. The gentleman at the back, and then I'll take the lady here at the front. And you got one too. Perfect. Lots of hands. Okay, you're meant to be jumping up, standing up, getting my attention.
Thank you so much. So I would like to ask Mr. I'm so sorry, I don't know.
Praneshan.
I just recalled your name.
That's
who deals with GoFund yourself. I think in most businesses or small businesses from local townships, we mainly target funding without understanding the different types of funding. So in that aspect, what I mean is also it goes back to a point where statistics were showing that almost 2,000 to 4,000 young businesses, but only 2,000 are in survival stage, not successful, but survival stage. So my question would be, how would you actually teach us as young people, because we just look for funding, and then we end up having this Mercedes-Benz and then go back to your room where you used to stay in a one room. I think most it happens like that. So my question would be, would you be able to actually assist in terms of, should we target funding, or should it be by a preference of saying, this is what I think would actually develop the business to go forward? Yeah, I think maybe in that aspect.
I'm going to go back a bit, right? So Go Fund Yourself actually is only about 3.5 months in existence. However, it started in September last year. There was these two guys on the corner of Grayston and the M1. They were selling coffee. I came past them. They had their little Jacob's container. They had their cups, the milk, and they were selling coffee. And I took that as a pet project. And right now they have over 10 sort of stalls across. They've got full funding from Go Fund Yourself. They're in the news all the time. They're in the papers, and that's coffee. And it's now called Coffee on Grayston. But even before we gave them the funding, right, we had to take them through the entire entrepreneurial sort of the skills development, what they want to do, how they're going to do it. The second project that I took on was in January this year, which was an agricultural farm in Alex. Just not going there to hand out money. Understand where the business wants to go. Right now it has 36 people working for it. It actually sells onto over 50 SMMEs in Alex that actually sell herbs. So it's, it actually sustains other businesses as well. So it's just not about handing in money, right? So we've got these skills development course that we started off on the 1st of October. We've just registered 136 people to do entrepreneurial skills. We've identified, we very much focused on women and disabled for the skills development. So we're doing a spaza shop rollout where we want to put disabled people to run their own spaza shops, right? So we're starting with that as well. So yeah, it's not just handing out money, so we try to see where we can go with this. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I know we got some questions here, and I'm going to hand it over to you now, but I just want to say, let me state categorically, though, that this is Matt's problem, not mine, the gentleman at the back. Apparently, we only have 5 minutes left, because he says some people are hungry. I don't know who's hungry. They've been feeding us since we got here.
Okay, firstly, this is 20 seconds wasted time. But it's not that people are hungry, it's some panelists need to leave, so we need to respect their times as well.
Okay, so it's their fault. Got it.
It's actually my fault for running late, so everyone, if you want to yell at me, it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I certainly will take you up on that. I just want to take the question here. I'm trying to go in order. This is such an insightful conversation. We'll even give up lunch for this. Oh, sorry, you want mine?
Hello, everyone. I'm going to try to be quicker then. But I have 3 questions for you, Mr. Naidoo, Faith, and the lady. Okay, my name is Siliyana. I'm from the Siliyana Foundation. My foundation is in support of economically marginalized groups, including the survivors of gender-based violence, parolees from prison, and also women and LGBTQI. So to you, Mr. Naidoo, I want to find out, because I'm assisting correctional service with rehabilitation programs and also to reintegrate back the parolees back into the community. So I've signed the agreement with community corrections to now assist them with entrepreneurship and also the labor ones to look for employment for them. And those who are not is employable. So I need them to, for instance, in prisons, the skills they do them there, I don't have to do the skills development because they have time. I encourage them to use time to do those skills development inside. But then when they leave, I want to group them. For instance, those who manufacture uniforms, those who manufacture, those people that can manufacture anything except a human being. I think you all know that. Yeah, so that's how I need to help them in prevention of recidivism, which is reoffending, and also so they can come back and be able to take care of their families, and also give back to the community, and they can employ youth. They're the one that can assist in creation of job employment in each their regions. So I want to find out, how do I, is it advice, is partnership? Are you passing the baton to me? How do you help me in terms of, because what I need, I always have my niche. I just need funding. There is a return of investment, obviously, in that. Can I put the question to, or I have question for the lady?
Can I just respond to this question? And then we'll put, Toni, there'll be a question to you. I didn't catch your name up front. Lisile, Disile, where is, so is it an NGO that you run? NPO, where is it based?
In the south of
Oh, excellent. And the work that you're doing, what I caught is it's centered around livelihoods and employability, as well as upskilling. Right, so talk to me after this session, okay? Great.
Oh, I like that. Love it.
Toni, it is a question to you, but I need to give the mic back.
Let me not be emotional, okay? You talked about informal settlement, township economy, informal businesses. So I'm also doing economic empowerment with the city of Johannesburg, assisting women and youth to how to, instead of sitting waiting for that job that I haven't created yet, what is it that they can do for themselves using their own hands? So I've experienced most of the people want to start, they want to work, they want to do something, but there's always red tapes, obviously, in terms of them getting funding. And also the empowerment that I'm doing, I think, is so important, because we're coming from the background whereby we did not work from any businesses. We did not have anyone in the family doing businesses like the Germany guys. And then we didn't know where to go. So people start, they end up failing because there's red tapes. Sometimes they need to get funding, but they can't be able to get the funding. So, and the other thing, there are challenges.
So I'm going to ask you to pause there because I want to be respectful of the time, right? So
Okay.
go ahead and respond.
Disila, let me take a quick bite. I'll try to be as fast as possible. Firstly, you are doing amazing work. It is often thankless work other than the people who really get to engage with you. I think it's really important that we acknowledge that. So as Brand South Africa, we have a social movement of which Faith is also a part of. What she didn't say, and I'm sitting here thinking, girl, she's a Play Your Part ambassador for Brand SA as well, also doing amazing work in her space. But what I wanted to say, firstly, I think in that social movement called Play Your Part, our work, it's less of a commercial or transactional relationship and more of a partnership and symbiotic relationship to try and profile, celebrate you and the work that you do so that other people can also be inspired and hopefully others their attention grabbed to lean towards your program and support you in whichever way. So I would like to talk to you about that afterwards. But secondly, and I think there was a big part of your question wasn't just for me, but for Pranesh, because the whole time I think there's a lot of support that he can give. I also just want to humbly say, very often when I've worked with entrepreneurs, and I'm not an entrepreneur myself, so forgive me here if I overstep, I find that, of course, we need funding. We need funding, understood. But also, I would advise that sometimes you think all the problems are going to be answered just by funding, and it is not the entire answer alone. There are so many programs that exist to hold the hands of an entrepreneur, from basic bookkeeping, which can often be the downfall of businesses within their first 3 years of existence. So I think information sharing, and here I want to challenge the Socioeconomic Impact Summit as the people who are the change makers and created this platform, to actually perhaps put together a hub of information where all these little bits of pieces lie. You know, you've got mentorship for businesses in Brand South Africa through Play Your Part. We've got the Play Your Part Academy, which we partnered with Startup Tribe for an online resource for entrepreneurs. And I think please reach out to that platform. A lot of people, we've got great testimonies of people who have found it very useful. But I also want to quickly mention, and I don't work for Harambee, but I think they do great work. Yes, they basically bring earning and learning opportunities to youth, to the extent that, they even have a wardrobe section for if you have an interview. You know how basic the problems are sometimes. Absolutely. A person doesn't know how to dress for an interview. I heard of a story from Harambee of a young lady who could only wear her matric dance dress to an interview.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and there are resources like that, people doing amazing work who you can have access to for the work that you do. And I wanted to say for the entrepreneurs, quickly, please allow me.
30 seconds.
I specifically try to make a few notes about entrepreneurial opportunities in sustainability across various sectors. And this is going to sound high level. Please just try and see what works for you and explore that space. In the energy environment, there are opportunities for entrepreneurs, simply because we have a big program of the just transition in South Africa. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have an interest in that kind of space, look at renewable energy solutions, whether it's solar, wind, hydro, energy efficiency consulting, sustainable building materials, green roofing. There are opportunities in water conservation, sustainable agriculture. There are opportunities, transportation and mobility, waste reduction and management. Often this is the one where everybody flocks to, waste management. There are other spaces in sustainability that you as people who are entrepreneurial can actually explore and find. Sustainable consumer goods, whether it's eco-friendly packaging solutions, etc. There's a whole lot of things. We don't have the time to say everything. The notes I found of all the resources available that at least I have access to.
You believe me now when I told you how hard she works? Okay, this gentleman is going to be a future minister. I can see it in the way he came, right? So I do want to take, I know I've got like a minute, maybe 30 seconds, but.
Minus 6 minutes.
Minus 6, okay, we're in the red.
I'll be very brief. Hi, everyone. Quick question. I just wanted to find out from the panel. Most of the time when we speak about sustainability, we're talking about environmental sustainability, planting trees. Meanwhile, there's human sustainability, there's economic sustainability. So, and most organizations are focusing on planting trees because it's easier to tick the box. So I wanted to know maybe what do you think can be done to steer them to look at social sustainability, economic sustainability, human sustainability as well with the attention it deserves. Thank you.
I don't have any takers. Oh, you want the mic?
I'm going to take a stab at this. I'll take the human sustainability because that's my job. I think for me, when I've just used my own personal experience, when I started mental wellness, as I dived into it, I realized that there was not much data in Africa about mental wellness. This is why there's no funding, there's not much funding in the preventative programs. But we have one of the highest mental health issues, and that was a big issue for me as an African person. You know, I said to myself, how do we help people? We don't even have data to go and get that funding. And for me, I think that it boils down to that. We need to, everything that we do, especially when it involves human beings, we need to have data to back it up because data is concrete. No one can really, dispute it. So everything that we do in our own little corners, we must do research studies. That's why, that's why universities like Harvard are really good at what they do because they do like 75 years, a study for 75 years on relationships. And they are able to get people behind that. They're able to get the partnerships that they need. That's why they're so big. And I think for us as well, in the African continent, we need to start doing that, strategizing, say to ourselves, when I bring the data and I've done a study, I have proof that we need this. So no one can deny me funding. So on the human perspective, that's what we're focusing on as a brand. Even though we're doing all this mental wellness, we are putting data behind it. So when we go to like private partnership, and we do private partnerships, they can't deny it. Even when we can go to Discovery, we show them, they can't deny it because the proof is there. So on my side, that's what we're doing from our side of the corner, is backing it up with data so that we have to show that there is a problem and we've done the research and give us our money pretty much.
Yes.